Hey everyone, I'm Scott Mantz with AwardsWatch, and I'm very excited to have this conversation about Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story, streaming on Netflix, nominated for 11 Emmys, including Outstanding Limited and Anthology Series. I'm joined right now by Cooper Koch. He is an Emmy nominee for Lead Actor in a Limited or Anthology Series. Cooper, big, huge congrats.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So, first, just to get into it, how did you first hear about this nomination, and what does this nomination mean to you?
I watched the nominations come out on the TV. Um, and yeah, I was with my family, and it was a very nerve-wracking, anxiety-riddling morning, which ended up being very relieving. And I mean, it means, yeah, it means the world. This role has changed my life, and I hope changes the lives of many others, in particularly the Menendez brothers and their entire family. Um,
Sure.
so yeah, this person and this part means a lot to me, and so in that sense, it means the world.
We're going to get into that in terms of just like the impact that this has had, which is really unprecedented, and I've been covering this kind of stuff for many, many years, and I've never seen it have this kind of impact on real life. But like in terms of the weight and responsibility that you must have carried getting into this role, what was it about your audition that you feel like really sealed the deal for you to play Erik Menendez? And tell me about your conversation with Ryan Murphy.
I mean, I feel like you have to ask the casting directors that question. I don't know. I mean, I I just I worked really hard. I just watched as much stuff as I could, and I just have a very deep connection and empathy for this person that I think allows me or allowed me to step into them in a really authentic way. And I guess thank God, they saw that. And yeah, in terms of a conversation with Ryan, we had our screen test. That was like the final round of the audition process. And yeah, I mean, he worked with us and he gave us amazing direction and he was ready to let us play and to bring these people to life. And he was so open and collaborative. And yeah, I mean, I owe him my life for giving me this part. So, yeah.
Cooper, with all of the material that must have been available for you to watch, to prep, to play Erik Menendez, but that's all like public, that's all like what the public saw. Behind, in privacy, there must have been a different Erik Menendez that people didn't see. So, how did you zero in on that part of your performance? What informed your approach? Maybe that did come from the direction from Ryan Murphy. I don't know.
Yeah. See, I actually don't believe your statement that it's a different Eric Menendez on the stand. I think the person on the stand is the same person that was there behind closed doors. Someone who holds their shoulders down and who sighs a lot and who can't really get their words out and whose mouth is very sort of like stiff and tense and who has a very sort of sweet smile and who sort of seems like they're maybe 11 years old in a 25-year-old's body. Um, I just believe that the person that you see on the stand was the person that was also living in that house. And so, yeah, that's sort of like what that's the person that I played, and that's the person who I believe is true, whether he's on the stand or not. So,
When I interview actors about roles all the time, I always ask about their points of connection. Did
mhm.
you have any points of connection to zero in on when playing Eric Menendez? Something that helped you zero in on what you were just talking about?
None. I had
Uh,
nothing.
Nothing.
No, of course I did. And the main one is just uh the theme of shame. Like I've struggled with a lot of shame in my life for a multitude of different things, and obviously Eric has as well for what he did, but I think even more so what was done to him his entire life. And so I think that was sort of like my biggest connection to him and what allowed me to step in and be able to understand where he was coming from and why he did the thing that he did.
Well, the cast that you got to work with, I mean, of course, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, but I mean, Chloe Sevigny and Academy Award winner Javier Bardem. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And
What
Ari Graynor.
Yeah, Ari. Okay, we're gonna get to the whole thing in that in the fifth episode where, okay, hold that thought, Cooper. But I just want to ask you when you were all together, especially the Menendez family actors were all together for the first time. What was that like when you all met, and what was it about that dynamic that maybe sort of took you in a maybe slightly different direction that you were originally intending to go?
Hmm. Um, I don't think I ever went into a different direction, but the first time we met, we all met for a rehearsal um, in the family room where the thing happens.
Yeah.
And I just remember like Javier being very warm and very sweet, and Chloe being kind of coy and like she's so cool. Like she's just like the coolest gal. And I think everyone just like showed up ready to go and was very prepared, and everyone had done their homework. And so then when you sort of like, if you've done all of your prep and your work at home, then when you show up to play, then just it just happens, you know? And it's very magical. It's hard to sort of like explain like how the dynamic worked because sometimes it doesn't. I mean, I'm sure you've seen a shitty TV show where like you are not buying the chemistry and you're not buying that these people that are a family. And, so sometimes it's like I don't know what the reasons are. It's like it just I think everyone just like did their work, and like the writing is so good, and Ryan Murphy is just a brilliant filmmaker and showrunner, and he makes amazing TV. So I think just like all the stars really aligned, and it just came together beautifully, and the dynamic just it's like lightning in a bottle, you know? It's like it's rare that that kind of thing happens.
When I was watching each episode, first of all, every one of these episodes, I was completely riveted from start to finish. I mean, of course, being my age, living in LA, when all that happened, it took me back to that. But of course, a lot of perspective came from watching Monsters and watching all of your performances, and definitely the impact that it had on real life. But when I got to the fifth episode, I went, "Oh, this looks pretty short. I wonder why it's such a short episode." And then I watched it and I realized, "Oh, this must have felt really long filming it." So, of course, this is the episode that's done as a oneer, a complete take with you and Ari, who is equally magnificent in this episode. So, I mean, look, I feel like your performance in this whole series was magnificent, but this episode in particular, before you get into the performance of it all, obviously, you had a lot of lines to remember. How did you remember your lines?
Well, I had the script for like 8 months. I got it in June, and then we didn't shoot the episode till March. So I read it every day. I wrote it a lot. I listened to it recorded in my own voice, in my coach's voice. Um, and so, it's like anything. If you practice something for 8 months, at the end of the 8 month mark, you're probably gonna know it pretty well.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I just worked on it like every day. I went to bed thinking it, when I was going to sleep after I was done listening to testimony, I would just think it to go to sleep and then remember the next night, okay, where did I fall asleep? Like, where did I stop? I also separated the episode into sections. So like it had like six different chapters. Like I made the episode into its own chapters. So I would work, chunk by chunk by chunk or section by section. And that sort of helped me space things out and understand the flow of how it was gonna go or like where it goes or yeah. So I had a lot of time. I think that's how I was able to um remember it all. Yeah.
But when it came to actually filming this, I think it's like 34 minutes is the complete take. So, how many full takes did you do, and which version is the one that was used in the episode?
We did 8 full takes and they chose the very last one.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So here, my other question is, how many times did you sort of like you're doing it, you're 28 minutes in and like, oh shit, I forgot my line. Like, did that happen at all, or were you like have it down?
No, not once.
Not once. That is really freaking impressive, man. I gotta tell you.
Well, we also just Ari and I both went into it being like it's one take, so if we mess up, we just keep going and pretend like it's life.
Oh,
You know, we
mhm.
always we do that all the time when we're speaking or talking to people where we sort of forget what we're talking about or we get on a tangent and then lose the train of thought and something happens. And so we just both knew that if at any point one of us froze up or didn't lost our thing or skipped something, we weren't going to be like, "Oh, you you missed that line. Like we have to start over."
Oh,
Like
yes,
that
yes.
was never gonna that was never gonna happen. We knew that we were both just gonna make it work and keep going. So in that sense, I think we both just had the safety net of that and that we were just always gonna keep going.
Was there a point in that last eighth take there, Cooper, where you did almost lose your train of thought, or maybe she almost lost her train of thought, and you just rolled with it, like you said, and just kept going? Was there a
No.
point? Nope. Wow, I am so impressed with that, man. That is very, very impressive.
I mean, it's funny too though because, you know, I guess the difference is it's like this is being recorded and there's a camera and it's like the pressure of it and you only get a certain amount of time to do it. We luckily got 2 days to do it. But like people do theater where the show's 3 hours long and like they have to know all of those lines. So not to like beat myself down or like dumb myself down of saying like, oh, it's not that big of a deal because it is, and the subject matter is also very intense. But like, learning the lines and not messing up is sort of the like that's the bare that's the bare minimum. Like that's the easy part. The hard part is making it real and connecting to you know, your scene partner and hoping that the memories that you've created and that, you've visualized are there for you on the day. Because sometimes they're not.
Mhm.
Like, you have a story that you're supposed to talk about in the monologue or the scene, and you've created all of this backstory and history and memories, and you know what the season it was and what the kitchen smelled like, and then you get there on the day and then none of it's there and it's not affecting you at all. Like that's the part that's hard. And I think the hardest part about it is just like trusting yourself that it will be there and then
Mhm.
letting go and just being in the moment and not sort of like letting go of that pressure and just simply having a conversation with someone.
You talk about a scene partner. Could you have asked for a better scene partner than Nicholas? I mean, you guys.
Oh God, I thought you were going to say Ari. We're talking about episode 5.
Oh, well, well, especially us. Okay, well, let's talk about how Ari was the perfect scene partner for episode 5.
Yeah. not to Nicholas was incredible, an amazing scene. I just wasn't expecting that. Well, I thought you were going to say Ari.
But yeah, I mean, but Ari was I mean, I've seen her in so many movies over these years, a lot of them at Sundance. But you know, that scene in particular, and you know, it never there's not a camera behind you that cuts to her, and she was just as committed as you were. I mean, it was really, really
Well,
incredible.
this most special thing that I've said before is that I'm the only one that got to see her performance.
Oh, mm.
No one else did. I'm the only one. And I'm like, I will just keep that with me forever.
When you
Uh,
finished that eighth take, did you give each other a big hug and go, we nailed it?
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We had sushi and wine, lots of wine after we were done that day.
Awesome. Okay, back to Nicholas.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about how he was just the ultimate scene partner, you know, for the duration of filming.
Yeah, I mean, he is so dynamic and he really sort of just brought so much life to that person and so much energy and chaos and he was so fascinating and exhilarating to watch and to be in the scenes with and yeah, I mean, what an incredible actor and performer. Yeah.
You know what, Cooper, you talk about prepping, you know, you had all these months of memorizing the script for episode five, you know, getting your head into that space for the duration of filming Monster, you know, to be in that stage, you know, I'm not so much concerned about getting into character. I'm curious about how you got out of character when filming wrapped.
Yeah. Uh, or just like every day
Yeah,
when I had to
yeah.
go home. Um, well, there's kind of a little bit of a story here. Like when I was doing my callback, when I my first callback, not the screen test with Nicholas and Ryan, but before I had my callback, I tried to like be Eric all weekend. Like I tried to stay in that space of like shame and sadness and grief and regret and pain and anxiety. I stayed in all weekend and then I got to the callback and like I was like dry. Like I had nothing left to give. Or at least that's the way that I felt. Like I didn't think the callback went well. I thought I thought I totally blew it. Like I thought I fully bombed it because it just didn't come out in the same way that it did. And I had to talk with my coach afterwards on the phone and I was like, yeah, I just don't think it went well. And like, and she was like, well, what were you doing? And I was like, well, I was in all weekend. I was like practicing trying to be him all weekend. And she was like, you, you lost the potency of it because you were in it for so long.
Mm, mm.
Like you have to learn and be better at being able to trust yourself that you can step in and that you can be him because you know all of this stuff. You have the connection to him. You've created all of these memories. You know everything about him. And then you can step out and be Cooper. And I think towards the beginning, middle of the shoot, I really learned how to do that.
Right.
And I think it's just the healthiest way. Otherwise, it's just too heavy. And also you put a burden onto other people. It's like I would never want to, I never want to like behave the way that my character would behave around other people that I'm working with or my family or, I always want to be myself so that I am making sure that I'm respectful towards other people and then I'm able to sort of step in and do my work and not affect others. And also, it will help me more because
Right.
my performance will benefit from it because I won't have lost all of my energy or my drive. And then when you step in, it's fresh and it's like, oh, I'm in it now. And like I feel it stronger than ever because I've been away from it. And that doesn't mean also that when I'm not working, I'm not quote unquote working. Like if I'm not the character, like I'm still watching testimony and reading and listening to music and, you know, trying to sort of stay in somewhat of the vibe. But yeah, it's a skill to step in and step out, but I think it's just the healthiest way
Absolutely.
for yourself and for others.
Definitely for yourself, and I'm sure for others as well. I mean, can you imagine being method and staying in that start to finish? Wow. You went from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds by taking on this role. And I know you didn't meet Erik Menendez before you started shooting, but I have read that you did meet him afterwards.
Yeah.
And what was that like for you? And did he see the series?
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, I just like went and met, like Erik Menendez, like whatever.
Yeah.
No, it was like one of the best days of my life. I've been wanting to meet him and shake his hand and give him a hug and look him in the eyes and tell him that I believed him. Because the most important thing for a survivor of abuse in general, sexual abuse, whatever kind of abuse that someone has endured and has come forward about it, is to tell them that you believe them,
Mm-hmm.
that what they say happened was true. And so that was just like so rewarding to get to do that. Um, and yeah, it was just beautiful. And he was almost exactly how I would have imagined him to be, like very sweet and funny. Both of them are very charming and have great senses of humor. Um, and yeah, it was just it was wonderful. It was one of the best days ever. In terms of how much of the show he's seen, I'm still like unclear. I don't know. I think now he's seen my episode, but I'm still unsure. I don't know exactly how much he's seen, but I think yeah, I don't know. Still unclear.
Still
Uh,
unclear. Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
little difficult to watch Netflix when you're in prison, I think.
Well, I was wondering about that, like how much, like, he was able to access all that stuff, or if
Yeah.
he wasn't allowed to. So,
Yeah, that's why I'm still not sure. Like I think they've seen some of it, but I'm not totally sure.
I gotta say, again, being in LA for like this, for OJ, for the riots, um,
Yeah.
and I remember, obviously Northridge, watching, the last couple episodes of with all that. I mean, LA was just crazy at that time, but to watch the news in this last few months and to see that this show is actually having an impact on their sentencing. I don't know if that's ever happened. I mean, I certainly can't think of it, but what was your reaction when you were hearing that the show that you made is actually having an impact on the real thing, the outcome of the real thing?
Yeah. Well, I think with Gypsy Rose, I don't know how much I don't know if the show coincided a lot with what was happening. I'm not sure of the timeline there, but I think maybe that was another one that sort of was similar. And Gypsy Rose did get released, which was amazing. But I mean, obviously, my reaction is like I'm just so grateful. And it was sort of like my goal all along. I was hoping that something like that would happen because this has sort of been my belief for so long and what I've wanted for them for so long. Um, but I also, a lot of people do say that like, oh, the show has had this huge impact and it's all because of the show. And while yes, I do think the show had a huge, massive push on making this happen quicker,
Yeah.
I don't want that to sort of um, take away from the work that their lawyers have been doing for the past 3, 4, 5, 10, however many years it's been that they've been working on their case. This is like a long time coming. It's not just that, oh, this Netflix show came out and now everyone's like, oh, the Menendez brothers are should be freed. It's like, no, 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 no. Like this has been in the works for a long time with Mark Garagos and all of their other lawyers and their family. And, they made the documentary about the Menudo documentary. And, it's been a long, long journey. And I think the show came out at a really good time to
Yeah.
sort of like ignite that fire that gave it that final push. So in that sense, yeah, I'm so grateful to have been a part of it, and I'm just thrilled that it has had the impact and the response that it's had.
Well, last question for you, Cooper. So, you know, like I said, you went from 0 to 60 very, very quickly, filming this. What are the biggest takeaways for you as an actor, not just with your performance, but Ari's, with Nick's, with Chloe's, and certainly with Javier? The biggest sort of takeaways with you that you're always going to carry with you onto the next one.
I think the biggest thing for me is just like trusting yourself, like just trusting the work that you've done, trusting that you can do it, trusting that if you feel scared, that's a good thing. And just, yeah, I think just working really hard and believing in yourself. I think those are my biggest things.
All right, one more last question. It just
Yeah,
occurred to
yeah.
me. Where your life was at when you got this gig, and where your life is at now. What are the biggest changes? I mean, it might be a mother load of a question, but what are the biggest changes for you?
Um, hmm. Biggest changes. Well, yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of things that are different. Um, I mean, everything's different. I I get to have a little bit more advocacy for myself in choosing what I want to do in my work, bef compared to what it was before, where I was just every time my agent or my manager would send me an audition, I would do the audition and send it in and then not hear anything back or get a call back and then not get it or maybe get it or do that over and over and over again. And now if I get an audition and I don't like it, and I would say no before too sometimes if I didn't like it, but if I get an audition and I don't like it, then I'm not doing it. Or if I get an offer and I don't like it, then I'm not doing it. And I don't care anymore. I don't feel that pressure to have to work or to have to do something because I need to, you know, I don't know what, like be an actor. Like I get to just do the things that I really feel passionate about or that I really, really like. And like I would rather, yeah, I would rather not work for another like year or 2 years than do something that I don't feel passionate about or that I like. And so that freedom, of course, I want to work so badly. I want to be working constantly because I love it so much.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the freedom of that has been really, really nice and definitely like dream come true.
Well, listen, I cannot thank you enough for an amazing conversation. Big congrats to you, all of your fellow Emmy nominees. I'll see you next month for sure. And best of luck to you. And thank you so much for an amazing conversation, Cooper, for Awards Watch. And we will see you next time.
Thank you so much.